This is CBS 2 News at 5.
And right now at 5.
House is shaking.
Yeah, that earthquake rocking the tri-state area. Streets cracked, picture frames come off of walls, pets confused, and people running for cover. The epicenter was in New Jersey, but it was felt far and wide. We have live team coverage starting right now. And good evening once again. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Alice Gaynor in for Christine Johnson. The earthquake was a 4.8 magnitude, and it happened at 10:23 this morning.
More than 42 million people could have felt some sort of shaking. The U.S. Geological Survey says the impact stretched all the way from Maine to Washington. We have seen video of picture frames falling off of walls, pets springing up in alarm, a camera shaking at the top of the Statue of Liberty, and even a water main break in Randolph, New Jersey, like a geyser. Water spewing into the air.
The epicenter of the earthquake was in White House Station. That's in Reddington, New Jersey. Right now, there are no reports of any injuries, but some damage. Already, we've had 3 aftershocks, but they've all been minor.
Thankfully, and we have team coverage for you. All of our reporters spread out across the tri-state, from the epicenter to the city, Westchester and Long Island. Let us begin with CBS 2's Christine Sloan live at the epicenter in Reddington, New Jersey, where they sure felt it, Christine.
Well, they sure did, Maurice and Alice. It felt like a freight train hitting homes in this area. I can tell you that I felt it for nearly 20 seconds, and it was kind of scary. I had no idea what was going on. Here in Reddington, crews were immediately on the roads assessing the damage.
This stuff is awesome. Oh, and there's something going on. Oh, something is actually happening. And it feels like we are having an earthquake here.
A store owner doing an Instagram live stream, rattled by the 4.8 earthquake that shook the ground just after 10:30 Friday morning. In Reddington, New Jersey, the epicenter of the quake, a tree crashing down right on Roosevelt Road right after the jolt.
It felt like 50 enormous trees falling around my house and on my house, and I thought that the roof was going to collapse in and then the walls were going to come in. So I ran downstairs when I realized it was an earthquake because we had had a small earthquake here a couple weeks ago.
An historical site in the township also damaged. The upper portion of the grist mill, built in 1760, collapsing. Emergency crews, the mayor says, also responding to dozens of gas leaks in the township, but there have been no reports of injuries.
Obviously, when it first happened, there was a lot of calls to 911. Nobody knew what was happening. So we tried to get that out on our township social media page immediately, that it was indeed an earthquake, and encourage residents not to call 911 unless it was an emergency.
We are on the Ramapo fault line, and this is the strongest earthquake to hit this area in years. And of course, the concern always is aftershocks, which we have not felt so far. We're live in Reddington, New Jersey. Christine Sloan, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Christine, thank you.
Over to Newark now, where authorities say several homes are compromised because their foundations may have shifted due to the earthquake.
Dozens of people have been evacuated. CBS 2's Natalie Dudridge live at the scene now with the latest. Natalie.
Maurice, Alice, that's right. 25 adults, 3 children figuring out where they will stay tonight. And that's after these 3 properties suffered structural damage. That's according to the Office of Emergency Management. They say this is due to the earthquake. We're zooming in. You can see just how close these roofs are. It looks like they crunched together now. A man showed up here saying he is a homeowner. He says some damage was already there, but residents tell us they have never seen the house look like this, never seen these roofs touching like this.
It just felt like a lot of wind. I felt it was just a wind.
At 10:30 this morning, Paul Carey felt intense vibrations to this multifamily home on 7th Avenue and 3rd Street.
I heard this rumbling, so I figured it was outside. I figured something happened outside, so I didn't pay any attention to it. So about half an hour later, the fire department comes. They said, you gotta leave.
He evacuated along with his 2 cats, their crates. Once outside, he saw his house was almost leaning into a neighboring home. He says there used to be a foot or 2 between them, but now you can see damage where the roofs are touching.
They shifted. I get the vibrations being moved. I was just talking to the building inspector. He's out here.
What did he say?
That the foundations.
Authorities confirmed 3 buildings, 313, 315, and 317 7th Avenue, have been deemed unsafe, prompting the relocation of 10 families, including 25 adults and 3 children.
To see this It's something. It's crazy.
Homeless outreach services have been deployed to assist displaced families, ensuring they have somewhere to go. All right, so you can see a red tag there on the door that has deemed the building unsafe, but the next building over, a resident was just in there grabbing some of their belongings. We are told that that is the problem house, 315 there, deemed structurally unsafe. The two homes next to it, they have been deemed structurally okay, but they are at risk due to 315 here. So again, residents anxiously awaiting to determine if and when they will be able to come home. But in the meantime, the Red Cross is helping those 28 adults and children out tonight. In Newark, Natalie Duddridge, CBS 2 News.
Wow, Natalie, thank you.
Mayor Adams gathered the city's top officials to coordinate the response to the quake.
CBS 2's Jennifer Bisram is live at the city's Emergency Management Department in downtown Brooklyn with more. Jennifer?
Hi, Maurice and Alice. Less than 2 hours after that 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit our area, city officials all gathered here at the Office of Emergency Management to update New Yorkers. The mayor saying there was no structural damage reported, nothing major, and no major injuries as well. He told New Yorkers to go about their business. We're New Yorkers. It's what we do. 10:23 Friday morning, a 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New Jersey could be felt and seen in homes, through doorbell and traffic cameras, and even inside of a UN Security Council meeting in the New York City area.
We activated our protocols for this earthquake. We immediately started coordinating with all city, state, federal, and our utility partners. Public notifications were sent out both by Notify NYC and our wireless emergency alert system.
Leaders from almost all New York City agencies gathered at the Office of Emergency Management headquarters in downtown Brooklyn.
We are putting on additional construction and engineering professionals from this point on over the weekend. So if reports do come in, we will be ready to respond.
School dismissal and programs were not affected. Mayor Eric Adams encouraged New Yorkers to go about their day and gave some guidance for earthquakes.
And if you feel an aftershock, drop to the floor, cover your head and neck, and take cover under a solid piece of furniture next to an interior wall or in a doorway.
Governor Kathy Hochul also addressing the rare tremor that rattled the area.
We're taking this extremely seriously, and here's why. There is always the possibility of aftershocks.
No major aftershocks from the earthquake were reported, but it was shocking to many, including 6-year-old Trinity Morales, who was in school.
My class was scared, so my friends, they went next to me and gave me a hug.
She was so sweet. We have to mention today is actually her birthday also. So this was a special birthday for her. She said everyone just hugged each other in her classroom. Now, city officials say if you do see any cracks or damage in your home, in your business, to call 311 right away. In downtown Brooklyn, Jennifer Bisram, CBS 2 News.
Birthday she'll never forget. That's right, Jennifer. Thank you.
Truly. Well, to Randolph, New Jersey now, where the quake is being blamed for a water main break.
Yeah, it sent water gushing into the middle of a street, and CBS 2's Shosh Bedrosian is live there with the impact. Shosh?
Well, things are certainly looking better for this community at this point, but for the last few hours here, residents here on Pleasant Hill Road in Randolph have been dealing with the impacts of that water main break. Take a look over my shoulder. Crews are currently on scene right now. You can see this water main break made this road completely impassable. Just previously and earlier in the day, water was rushing down it, and residents tell us the pressure of the water was at its highest point for more than an hour.
It was like a fountain, like a geyser, just water spewing up.
For an hour and a half, resident Lisa Narcisse says she watched this water main break gush water completely soaking the house across the street.
I had looked out the front and I saw just brown water rushing down like a river.
Residents describe the street as nearly exploding. The road is now completely impassable with water running down the street. The head of the Morris County Municipal Utility Authority says the 4.8 magnitude earthquake most likely caused the 24-inch main to break.
It was pretty scary. I felt rumbling. I almost felt like the house kind of came up out of the ground.
Narcisse says the break happened around 1 p.m., just a few hours after the earthquake. But now more than 80 homes have little to no water, and residents are now being told to boil their water.
They said the water's definitely not working. I had filled up big garbage barrels of water while my water was still running.
Residents say this is the second time this has happened within the last 10 years where this water main break happened. At that point, they were out of water for several days, and right now there's no estimation of when water will be restored. In Randolph, New Jersey, I'm Shosh Bedrosian, CBS 2 News.
Okay, quite a picture there, Shosh. Thank you.
Back here to Manhattan, where people could feel the shake and rumble of the ground this morning.
CBS 2's Dave Carlin spoke with people who described what it was like when the earth started moving.
Here in Manhattan, when the ground started to shake, some might compare it to the vibration felt here.
I was home on 57th Street. I thought it was a truck from outside.
When did you realize it was an earthquake? When did you know that?
When I got the alert.
I was just sitting there waiting for the doctor, and I just kind of felt a boom, 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 boom.
I was in the chair getting a haircut. All of a sudden, I feel the ground shaking. I thought it was the train. I had one like 10 years ago, a minor one.
Well, how did this one feel compared to that?
This one was much stronger.
Well, my girlfriend woke me up. She asked me what was happening. I felt the bed shaking, so I was like, oh, it's probably an earthquake. And then I just went right back to sleep. It's my day off, so I needed to sleep.
I just felt everything swaying, and that it was very unusual. I went back to work. I thought the train, because then when I looked at my phone, I thought the trains were not going to be running, because I thought when I saw it was an actual earthquake, I'm like, oh God, the trains are going to be an issue, and it wasn't. And you know, everybody was doing their thing.
Everyone said, "Did you feel it? Did you feel it? Did you feel it?" I felt everything. I felt like the building was going to come down, and I was not a ripple, nothing. You know, there was an earthquake in Queens a few years ago, and I felt that. I was in my kitchen and I felt it was tiny, tiny, and I didn't feel this one.
Not feeling the earthquake at all? Some call that a good thing. Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
That's incredible.
I gotta say, I thought it was a little bit more jarring when we got the alert, like 40 minutes later, right? That was jarring.
Wow. Well, I was in the kitchen. We live in like a brownstone.
Yes.
I thought it was one of those gas explosions about to happen. The walls were shaking, you know, the house is rattling, and I thought, oh my gosh, a gas explosion. This is the end, right? That was the first thought. Plates are shaking. Wow. And then my wife and I ran out of the house, and everyone else outside was like, okay, earthquake, and we kind of calmed down. But, you know, we've had gas explosions here.
Yeah, of course.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, the train, the jackhammer, the bus, all that came to mind as well. But, oh my God.
I thought it was construction at the top of my building.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I hope nobody got injured or equipment fell. And I looked at the dog. I'm like, he's not moving. He's good.
My dog didn't react at all.
Anything.
She reacted when we opened the door, and she could smell other dogs outside, but that's a whole other story. Lonnie, you had a similar thing with your dog, except your dog came to life.
Yeah, my dog definitely came to life. He's not a big barker, started barking, and he was sort of pacing around. I was sound asleep prior to that. Sound asleep. And this sort of woke me up, you know, shook me out of bed, if you will. And yeah, just went through the whole thought processes in my mind about what this could be until you land on it's an earthquake. And look, a big hitter for our area, a 4.8. 1023, 4.7 kilometers below the surface of the earth. That's where the plates were rattling out there. And look at the reports, okay? Did you feel the earthquake? Somebody in Maine felt it enough to call the authorities and say, you know, what's going on with things shaking out here? Upstate New York, you betcha, all the way down towards Washington, D.C. And look, the focus is in our area. I mean, it was in our backyard, right about 45 miles west of New York City. I'm here, like, in the vicinity of Stamford, a little bit closer to New Haven. But I'm another 45 miles as the crow flies. So that's like a 90-mile span between me and that earthquake. And I felt it pretty significantly where I was. I'm wondering what this thing, like how much more intense it was if you were right there on top of it. You can attribute this to the Ramapo fault line. I mean, it's always got some activity. Speaking of some activity, you look at a current seismic monitor. This is the sort of picture that you expect, right? With the activity out on the West Coast, it's always picking up something. Currently, if you zoom in on our area, still picking up on a little something, but it's more of like a little quiver out there. A lot of folks aren't feeling anything right now, and they do think it's a low chance, but not a 0% chance for some aftershocks. They would be weaker. There's your Ramapo fault line as we speak. And if you get into the city itself, there's all these little fissures that come right over the city. I mean, it's the Hudson Canyon. And it's just the little tiny tributary fault lines. The last time that we had a 5.0 was 1884. They say that happens about every 100 years or so. This was 140 years, but kind of on track with where we should be. The record remains in the book at 5.3 from November 29th, 1783. Now, those are estimated numbers, right? Didn't have the equipment we have today, but that stays in the record books. More guys come up a little bit later. I've got your complete weather report, but we're talking earthquakes right now. It's all yours.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Still ahead here this evening, the earthquake's impact on our bridges and subways, what the MTA says it found after its safety assessments, and what it's saying tonight about our tunnels.
Plus, baseball is back in the Bronx. We're live at the home opener for the Yankees and the players' reactions to the earthquake right before the game.
And more video of scenes when the earthquake struck Manville, New Jersey. We've seen a lot of this today. Family pets scared and confused, except Alice's and mine. The dog jumped up on a table there. Our dog stayed calm.
And we would love to see your pictures and video. Share them with us. You can scan that code on your screen, or you can go to cbsnewyork.com/photos. We'll have much more on the Northeast earthquake coming up.